Good afternoon. You've reached the New York State Adult Home Complaint Hotline. How may I help you?
I want to file a complaint about the heat.
For the past 8 months, my home has been late with my P&A.
We have a problem with one of the night administrators.
A resident here is giving the home permission to take her Medicaid copay directly out of her allowance.
Problems like these are all too common in adult homes, and residents often feel they have nowhere to turn. This video will tell you about a resource that's always there for you.
How can I help you?
When you call the hotline, your call comes here to the Department of Health Complaint Center in Albany, New York.
Can you tell me how long this has been going on?
Calls come into the center from adult home residents all over the state. DOH reviewers want to know about possible violations of state regulations because adult homes are licensed and regulated by the New York State Department of Health.
Bye-bye.
So why did DOH start the hotline?
The hotline is there for the residents' benefit and use. That's why it was created. It was designed to ensure residents' complaints that were made against adult care facilities, all complaints against all facilities throughout the state, are handled in the same objective, expeditious manner.
How many people are there to take complaints?
We have 3 staff, myself and the 2 nurse reviewers.
Okay.
We operate every day, Monday through Friday, and there's a voicemail account for evening calls and any calls that are made on the weekends.
How may I help you?
We have a problem with one of the night administrators. He uses the overhead loudspeaker any time of night that he wants to. He keeps waking up people and he does not care about it.
How often does he do this?
Sometimes happens several times a week. The last few times I've written it down in a calendar I keep near my bed whenever it happened and would note the time.
Are there other residents that you know of who are disturbed by this?
Yeah, people are awakened. I have at least 4 people who can substantiate what I'm saying.
When you call the hotline, be prepared to answer questions like these. The more information you can give the reviewers, the better they can help you.
Keep a notepad and basically write down dates, times, instances when problems occur. If, for instance, if it's a temperature problem and it's too cold, write down that temperature. Write down where they read the temperature. If staff yells at them, write down the time that it occurred. Who was the staff member that said it? What was said? Where was it said? Were there any witnesses? And usually that kind of information helps refresh their memory, so when they make the phone call to us, we get pretty detailed, accurate information.
Do you want to remain anonymous?
No, you can contact me if you need to. That's not a problem.
Anytime a caller does call, they're immediately advised that they can remain anonymous throughout the entire phone call. That means they do not have to disclose their name, address, or any information about them. We do not share any information with anybody except those people that are charged with investigating the complaint.
So if you don't want to give your name, don't be afraid to call. If you do decide to give your name, it will be kept confidential. When your call comes in, your complaint is given a tracking number and entered into a statewide database. Your complaint is then routed to a regional office where a DOH inspector picks it up and investigates it.
If the resident gives us their name and address in the beginning, they do get an acknowledgement letter that's issued the same day as the complaint's filed.
Your letter of acknowledgement has the tracking number for your complaint and the phone number of the regional office that will investigate it.
And how may I help you?
For the past 8 months, my home has been late with my P&A payments, and this time it's almost 2 weeks.
Well, when the inspector comes to your facility, can you show any proof that your P&A account has been consistently late?
Yes. I do have all of my dated receipts to show the inspector when he or she comes.
There are a lot of problems with P&A. What would be the best way to call in one of those complaints?
I would suggest they keep all their receipts in a safe place, and that provides proof of when the P&A was paid to them and whether or not it was late. Secondly, the amount of the P&A has to be on the receipt. And if the amount is not equal to what they're supposed to be received, that also provides verification. that the money is not, that they're not receiving their money in full.
So what you're saying is it's very important that residents get a receipt and that they hold on to them.
The residents are required to be given a receipt. Not only important, they are required to get a receipt. And yes, it is important that they hold on to all their receipts. When we do an inspection of the facility's banking program, the operator has to retain copies of all transactions that it conducts with the residents. Operators cannot retain residents' personal needs allowance money for any reason. They have to pay it in full. And if that is not occurring, we need to know about that.
May I help you?
I want to file a complaint about the heat.
Have you complained at all to the administrator?
Yes, I have spoken to the administrator. And the residents who came up and was complaining about the heat, they went down also and spoken to the administrator.
Does the staff make any effort to make the residents more comfortable?
The staff sometimes give us extra blankets, and then if that's not sufficient, they get coats and jumpsuits and put on.
Before you call the hotline, it's important to talk to your administrator first, so you can tell DOH what happened when you did so. If a home manager finds out or guesses the resident's identity and retaliates against the resident, will DOH act to protect the resident?
The operator of an adult home or its staff cannot retaliate against the resident or residents and for any reason whatsoever. And if that should occur, I would strongly urge that individual to call us back at the complaint hotline number, give us the information and details, and we will ensure that an investigation of that aspect is also conducted.
And I now have this letter here, which I could fax to you.
Your ability to give accurate information about your adult home helps DOH do its job.
It helps the regional offices conduct more accurate, more thorough investigations when they are at the facility, and ensures that all areas of noncompliance are identified, and allows us to more effectively evaluate the quality of care that is provided on behalf of residents.
So if you have a serious complaint, call the hotline.
Don't be intimidated. The Department of Health takes resident complaints seriously and guards you against reprisals. Take things step by step. If it is possible to talk to someone at the home first, do so. Corroboration is important. Any witnesses or any other evidence, such as something in writing or photos, helps. The actual victim is the most important complainant. If you are calling for someone else, put the other person on the line to talk for themselves, if possible. Be accurate. Some things can be checked out. If you're accurate, it gives you credibility. Be specific. Don't just say the food is lousy. Was it spoiled? Was it overcooked? Was it cold? Or what? Don't talk about irrelevant things. Keep the focus on the complaint at hand and don't go off on tangents. Follow up if there are new developments. They will be added to the same case number. If you have your own phone, giving your phone number can make it easier for someone to reach you if they want. If you don't want a letter of receipt mailed to you, say so. If you do get a letter of receipt, it won't have a return address on it. My experience has been that your complaints will be taken seriously and passed on to inspectors for investigation.